Hello there, and welcome to step 3 of my Paragon tutorial series. I am Sylphin. In the last one, we talked about the mid lane, the HUD, how to equip attribute cards, how to get attribute points, and the general functioning of Paragon. Now we're going to go into more and more complicated things, starting with the phase as a support in the Safelane. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, go into your play versus AI and select your level of difficulty. We're going to go for introductory. If you are brand new to a MOBA or even a shooter, head into introductory so that you can have an easy time. Press play, you'll connect to a lobby, simply hit accept, and select phase. Starts with a P, and she is right here. Select phase and select lock in. Now remember, right off the bat, we spawn in to our base, which is the only place where we can equip cards. Select the G key and head on over to Intellect Support, which is the recommended deck here. We are a support hero in the support role, so we need this deck. Basically, it's a deck that helps you support and protect your allies while also enhancing your abilities. So we head on in here, we take a look at our deck, and we see that it's mostly intellect with some vitality. Our first card here that costs 1 attribute point is going to be Advanced Evolution. We're going to get that here and select Advanced Evolution. As a little bit more of an advanced thing, we also have Lamplighter, which is wards that grants us vision. We'll talk about that later. As you can see, if we wait a little bit, we actually end up getting 300 gold. So that's what we're going to spend. Select Lamplighter and put it in a spot. Remember that there are these jump pads, and you should use them whenever they are available. We have to go into the right lane. Go into the right lane. As you can see here, the rightmost lane here, as there is a wall. Go past your inhibitor, your tier 2 tower, and this is our tier 1 tower. We are a support using a support deck. Our whole purpose is to support our team, keep them safe, help them do their thing, especially our ally right here. Now, this is a carry, and we'll talk about that in our next video, but they are very special and they need our help in general. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to focus on keeping our carry alive in this early game. So as phase, you're going to first select her telekinetic link. Now, this is a ability that, again, you guys can experiment with, explore all of the heroes and the roles and their abilities. That is the first ability that we're going to get. Essentially, we tether ourselves to our carry, and we give them some health regeneration, so they just regen their health over time. And when we activate it, we can pull them over to us. Again, explore phases abilities by yourself and see what they do, and just learn to be a support. Now, I did say, as a Gideon in the mid lane, that you should be attacking the enemy minions and especially hitting them when they are in that red, in that execution zone. As a support, however, you do not want to be hitting the enemy minions, because your carry, who will be last hitting these minions, actually gets more gold than if you were to hit it. So I want, and you want the carry to get most of that gold through that last hit, and what will happen is it will actually be shared with you. Any last hits or kills and assists will grant gold to nearby allied heroes. So don't worry, you are still getting gold from having your carry here last hit. You want them to last hit, as they benefit from gold much more than you do. So simply let your carry last hit the enemy minions and protect them with your dear life. Now, you might be wondering, what is the shadow ward that we picked up back at base? What is this lamplighter thing? Basically, you can select the 3 key or whatever card slot you put it in, and you can put down a ward. What this ward does is it grants vision to all enemies that pass within this area. Vision is very, very important, and I highly recommend putting it in crossroads like this here in the jungle. Try to put them in crossroads or behind a shadow wall. You cannot see through a shadow wall, so it's very important that you have vision around shadow walls. So as a support, you really need these wards to help grant vision and see if any enemy heroes are trying to be sneaky and coming up from behind you to kill you. The previous ward placement is one of my favorites, and this is one of my other favorites here in the jungle along the river. Basically, you have to just stick with your carry, the Sparrow in this match here, and keep them safe. You are kind of their babysitter, and that is what you are meant to do. Simply just help your carry get last hits, farm, get kills like we just did here, and go back to base pretty much whenever they go back to base, as we need to have our own cards as well. As a support, pretty much a mandatory card is this one right here in this deck called Protective Sentry. It is just like the wards that we placed down before, except instead of spending gold every time we want to equip that card and put those wards down, this one just costs attribute points, and you can keep those attribute points for later, and essentially it's wards for free. Now, you might have noticed that your carry wants to rotate to other lanes and kind of leave this lane periodically, or especially you will notice that enemy heroes will come into your lane through the jungle, and that is called rotating. You and your carry can push this right lane right to the tier 2 tower as we are right now, or we can rotate into other lanes. We'll talk more in depth about rotations and how to do them and when and why do you want to rotate when we talk about the jungle. But for now, you are following around your Sparrow or whoever carry you have as much as possible, simply keeping them safe. As a support, that is very, very important. And later on in the match, when allies and when you group up with allies, that is your role as well, to keep everybody safe. Now, we can talk about the map as we're going to be going through the map when we rotate and place down these wards. As you can see on your mini map, there are lanes, there are little blue circles and orange circles. Those orange circles and blue circles are towers and inhibitors. The big orange circle in the top right is the enemy core. The next ones in front of those are the inhibitors, and then there are other little blue circles as well. There are white circles, and those are jungle minion camps that we'll talk about in the jungle guide, and there are blue and red and purple circles along the river in the middle that we'll talk about as well. Just know that the minimap has heroes on it. As you can see, they're little icons moving around. There are little circles representing towers or buffs, again, that we will talk about later. That your minimap is very, very important. And as a support here, which I'm going to try to keep my Sparrow safe as she wants to fight a whole bunch of enemies here, it's really important as a support placing down these wards. This is a good spot as well for us to try to get some vision in the in the enemy jungle to try to see if any enemies are trying to be sneaky again and trying to come for us. Now, it will take time to get used to interpreting the minimap and looking at it, but just know that top players look at their minimap more than they actually look at the game. It is very, very, very important for you to look at your minimap as much as possible, but in time, you'll just simply get better and better at learning how to look at the minimap and how to get information from it. As the game progresses, you will notice that people are rotating more often, they're changing lanes, grouping up, and that is something we will discuss later. Again, you are just keeping your carry safe primarily, but also other allied heroes as well. So this Greystone here looked like he was a bit in trouble, and I'll try to kill this Twin Blast as I do indeed. Trying to keep your allies safe, rotating with your teammates, and just being a supportive hero. That is the job of a support. Now, a few really good categories of support cards are as follows. Protective Sentry, at least in my opinion, or any vision card, is really, really mandatory, as your ability to place down these wards throughout the map to grant vision and protect your heroes is really important. So Protective Sentry or any ward cards like Lamplighter or Protective Sentry, absolutely very key. There's also some shielding or health cards. Malink's Prayer is one of these cards, and it simply gives allied heroes health or some other shield cards that simply puts a shield on a friendly target so that they can absorb some damage. There's also other kinds of support cards that help your team maybe kill an enemy hero or slows an enemy hero down to protect your friendly's heroes so that they can get away. And that's cards such as Crippling Glare or Wetwire Virus that reduce an enemy hero's attack speed or basic damage or move speed, stuff like that. So essentially there's sort of vision cards, then there's sort of sustain cards that heal or shield your allies, and then there's sort of enabling cards that that disable an enemy hero or enable your friendly hero to attack a target, stuff like that. Those are the kinds of cards you want as a support to really help your team. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We learned about the support role, what kind of support heroes are with their very helpful abilities. What you do as a support, you really have to babysit your carry, but also help your friendly team. You need good cards that have vision, like Protective Sentry, that have shields or health on them, and cards that can maybe disable an enemy hero or enable your friendly heroes to do your things. We talked a bit about rotations and how you're simply following your carry at this point to help them do their thing, and just generally how to be a successful support in the safe lane. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, guys. Of course, subscribe, especially if you found this useful. I would really love to help you out in the future, and of course, with the rest of this tutorial series. Till next time, like always, guys, please stay optimistic and positive.